Good afternoon. Division Chief Mark Hildebrand, Hildebrand. I'm a Division Chief over the Investigations Division, the Aurora Police Department. Today I want to give an update on a homicide investigation that occurred earlier this week. On Sunday, June 1st at about 12:30 a.m., Aurora Police responded to a shooting in the 12600 block of East Hoffman Boulevard near Aurora Fire Rescue Station 2. Upon arrival, they located two victims. One was a 15-year-old female and the other was a 20-year-old female. Both were transported to local hospitals. Short time later, the 15-year-old female was pronounced deceased. The 20-year-old female sustained serious injuries but is expected to survive. There was a third victim located later in the night. It was another 15-year-old female who sustained minor injuries. Our major crimes homicide unit is lead on this investigation. Almost immediately, we began receiving tips through Metro Denver Crime Stoppers. This was a public outpouring of tips that gave us some critical information to help us identify the suspect in this case. Through these tips, they directed us towards a 14-year-old Colorado Springs resident. Our major crimes homicide unit partnered with the Colorado Springs Police Department in this investigation. On Wednesday, June 4th, Colorado Springs PD, SIU, and our major crimes homicide unit assisted with the arrest of the 14-year-old for unrelated motor vehicle theft warrant in Colorado Springs. 2 handguns were recovered after the arrest when a search warrant was conducted on the resident of the 14-year-old. Our major crimes homicide unit conducted several interviews, and they obtained an arrest warrant for first-degree murder on the 14-year-old for this case that occurred on Sunday. I'd like to thank our major crimes homicide unit and all personnel from the Aurora Police Department that responded that night, to our Colorado Springs partners, and to the Metro Denver Crime Stoppers, and especially to the public who stepped forward and provided us critical information to be able to solve this case and get this dangerous individual off the streets in about 4 days. Also, to the family of the 15-year-old, we send our condolences to the family of the young female who lost her life senselessly. And that is a tragedy. But it's also a social travesty with regards to the unacceptable conduct that you're going to see in a video we're going to show here in just a minute. So with that, I'd like to show a picture. We can't display a picture because the suspect's a juvenile, but he's 14 years old. He's charged with first-degree murder, 10 counts of attempt first-degree murder, and 2 counts of juvenile in possession of a handgun. Next, these are 2 pictures of the firearms recovered, which have a consistent caliber to what was found on the scene of this shooting. Finally, if you pause that and start that over, sorry. Before we start this, I want to provide some context. So we believe there was a pop-up party on social media that occurred in Denver. That party relocated to this area over on Hoffman Boulevard. There was a group of juveniles, a lot of females, and they were drinking and partying at 12:30 a.m., so well after late into the night. During this event, they were live streaming, and several groups from around the area responded to this location to engage in this behavior and activity. During that, we know that there was an altercation between 2 groups. During that altercation, there was a fight. A lot of juvenile females were involved in that fight. After that fight is when the shooting occurred. That's when the 14-year-old armed himself and fired multiple rounds into this group of juvenile females. The video you're going to see is a depiction of that fight. To our community, I hope this is shocking. I think there's a narrative out there that these, our juvenile population is just hanging out, having fun, just being kids. But in reality, we have a juvenile population that is going out well after hours. They're posting on social media platforms, encouraging multiple people to come to these locations. We even have information that they're participating in girl fight clubs. So the behavior that we're observing in this is completely unacceptable. There is a major concern for the juvenile violence within our community and throughout the nation. And I think this is a strong example of what we're seeing out there and why so many times these pop-up parties or these social gatherings with juveniles ends in violence. If it ends with just a fight, we're lucky. But in most occasions, it ends in a shooting where somebody's either injured or killed, and that's unacceptable. We as a community need to stand up and start taking accountability for this and start holding those accountable for allowing this to occur, saying it's okay for our juvenile population to go out after hours and hang out these locations and engage in this behavior. I would say that this needs to stop. I think parents need to be aware of what their kids are doing. If a kid is saying that they want to go to some pop-up party, I would encourage parents to discourage that, to stop them from going out and going to these, because what inevitably happens is they go there with friends, and then we have gang members from different gangs showing up armed. We have groups that do not get along from different schools showing up, engaging in fights, engaging in drug activity, engaging in drinking, and the inevitable outcome is violence. And I think we need to do a better job, not just within policing, but within the community, whether it's parents, the schools, and the community as a whole needs to do a better job of controlling the actions of our juvenile population and ensuring that they are safe and that they're not engaging in this type of behavior. Unfortunately, a 15-year-old female lost her life during this, in this senseless act, and a 14-year-old armed himself with 2 firearms, which is unconscionable to think that a 14-year-old would have access to 2 firearms and then make the conscious decision to use them against a group of people and end up murdering a 15-year-old in the process. That concludes my update, and I'm opening it up for any questions.
Do we know how the 14-year-old obtained those guns?
No, that's still part of the investigation to determine where those firearms came from. But we do know he came from the Springs with a group up here. We don't know exactly why. We can only presume it was to engage in some sort of activity or one of these parties or attend one of these parties. And then that's where it devolved into the fights and then the shooting.
Were both guns used in the shooting?
We're still confirming whether or not these were the guns used in the shooting, but there were multiple caliber casings recovered from the scene, so we do believe at least 2 firearms were used.
You say that the juvenile violence is a major concern. Do we have a number of teens that have been fatally killed this year so far?
Fortunately, overall, our violent crime is down significantly. I have a couple stats for you here that I'd like to share. Overall crime is down 21.3% compared to last year, and our violent crime is down 12.7%. So I can tell you with the strategy under Chief Chamberlain, with our changes in policy, the Aurora Police Department is much more proactive than we ever have been in the past. We are interrupting violence. We are stopping criminal behavior. We are trying to do everything we can to hold those that are victimizing others accountable for their actions and get them off the street immediately. So as we're doing that, a lot of our violence was involving our juvenile population. So the more we're proactive in policing, the more that we're able to intervene and interrupt that violence before it occurs. So we are seeing a decrease in violence overall and within our juvenile population, but just one instance like this is unacceptable. And that shows the, the crisis that we're in, because we cannot have, anyone being murdered at the hands of gun violence, but it's especially shocking when it's a juvenile.
What's your message to other juveniles or other young people that might be considering engaging in this behavior or fight clubs otherwise?
Well, I think it's probably human nature for juveniles to want to go out and hang out with friends, and probably in some cases it is, it's for just to be with their friends. There is no intention to be involved in criminal activity. Unfortunately, what ends up happening is criminals end up finding them, and it's always going to be a recipe for disaster. When they are posting this on social media, it just opens up the world for others to see what's going on, where it's going on in real time, and get to that location and start to have conflict with others that, like I said, will devolve into violence. So if I was to give any message to juveniles, is please do not partake in this. Please do not go to these pop-up parties. Find other ways to have fun and hang out with your friends. But anytime these things are occurring, we see it time and time again that they end poorly. And I will tell you that the Aurora Police Department will not tolerate this during this summer. So, and to anyone, if you're thinking about coming to Aurora and to commit crime, I would tell you to think twice. Because we are not going to allow you to victimize people within our community, and we will hold you accountable.
Do you know if this 14-year-old had a prior criminal record?
When he was arrested, it was for a motor vehicle theft warrant out of Colorado Springs. So other than that, I mean, he's so young that we don't have much other information at this point, but we do know he was involved in criminal activity based on that warrant that was out for his arrest.
What do you know about the 14-year-old child's home life, if anything?
I can't speak to that. I do not know what his conditions are or home life is. It is in Colorado Springs, so I cannot speak to that.
You mentioned the fight appeared to be between two groups. Are those organized groups like gangs, or are they more disorganized groups?
We're still trying to determine the involvement of everyone and what their connections are to one another. I will tell you, we do believe there were gang members there from potentially different gangs. But this looked like it was particular between a group that relocated from that Denver location to the Hoffman, and then some individuals that may not have been there showed up, and that was the Colorado Springs group. And then there was an altercation between those two groups. Was it a gang versus gang? I don't believe so. But there were two definitely distinct groups, and that group from Colorado Springs definitely was the initiator of causing problems within this other group. But to the same point, the first group was there after hours, drinking, partying at a location they should have never been at. And really, this isn't location specific. This could have happened anywhere because they just decided to relocate to this place and start to continue this behavior from when they came to Denver. So this could have happened anywhere, and unfortunately for law enforcement, it's hard for us to respond because this is being posted in live, and they're selecting a location and they're gathering very quickly, and these devolve very quickly. So if we get a heads up on them, we do go and try to interrupt and intervene to prevent this type of violence from occurring, but we're always playing catch up.
Is there any indication that the parents might be at all liable down the road? Is there any consideration there in this case?
I will tell you there's always a possibility of additional arrests and additional charges against other people that may be determined to be actors or enabled this or supported it. But at this time, we're not aware of any additional charges on any persons right now, but that is a possibility.
Do we know how many times the victim was shot?
I don't know how many shot. I know we probably had between 10 to 15 shell casings recovered on scene. But yes, one of those rounds was fatal.
You might have already said this, I apologize. Do you believe he's the only one that fired shots? Or multiple people shooting?
At this time, we believe he was the shooter involved in that struck these individuals. We don't have any other information that there were other shooters, although we do believe there were potentially other armed people there during this. because there was a crowd that was fired into, and every one of those people were placed at risk of death by his actions. They were all, it could have easily been any one of them, and it happened to be this 15-year-old girl and the 20-year-old female and then another 15-year-old that was grazed. But any one of this group, those additional 10 were in close proximity and were at risk. I'll just take one more question. Anyone?
Any other final thoughts or takeaways on this?
No, I would just encourage parents to be cognizant of what their children are doing, what they want to do, what their social network is, what they're doing on the weekends, because like I said, the Aurora Police Department is going to be out there this summer. We're going to be proactive, and regardless of whether anything bad happens at these parties, you don't want them to be at a location where police are having to come in and disrupt them and break these things up. It's best just to keep your kids away from this and keep them safe. All right, thank you.